Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. TerraPlex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from TerraPlex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with TerraPlex Ag. Visit TerraPlexAg.com.
Good Tuesday morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is January 30th, 2024, and it is another episode of Making Memz. I am one half of this podcast. My name is Adam Pedersen, and the other half is the Dreamboat, Jordan Bohannon.
You say Dreamboat?
You are the Dreamboat, Jordan Bohannon.
What does that mean?
It means you're a freaking gorgeous stallion of a man.
Dreamboat. I don't think I've ever heard the adjective before.
Well, put it on your resume. You're a dreamboat. It's the eyes, I think.
I like it.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of something I was going to say last episode and I forgot to. On one of our clips that got a ton of views, apparently in the clip, people thought you looked high or something. And someone
what clip?
It was, I can't remember what we were talking about. It was from like 2-3 weeks ago. And
wait, was it the 6 in the morning?
It was on TikTok.
Was it the one that we got up at like 6 in the morning to record? Was it that one?
I think it was. And you looked, I think your eyes have always just looked normal, but apparently someone thought you looked high. Someone commented on our video and asked where you get your weed.
Wow.
I remember reading that. I chuckled. Do you want to know why I'm wearing this shirt, Jordan?
Well, I know the last time we wore that shirt, we kicked somebody's ass on the golf course.
Yes, we did. Great video. Hopefully one of these days I can meet with Chris Williams and discuss those videos with him. So everyone can see it. But I'm wearing this shirt because I look good in orange, baby. Do you know what I'm referencing?
Good. Oh, did you do your research?
I read some stuff yesterday. I went down some rabbit holes. I saw that you were mentioned in a tweet that got many thousands upon thousands of views by Mr. Martin Mush. You guys had an interview, it sounds like, and a little juicy interview is going to be coming out.
Yeah. People that have followed me know we have ran into a couple sports analysts here or there.
Yeah.
And this one kind of fell in our lap. So really not much to talk about. It's just this guy. Yeah, it's an intriguing story. I urge anyone that likes college basketball and enjoys the kind of humor on the behind the scenes aspects of the college basketball landscape, just to go take a trip down the rabbit hole that you did, because it's a pretty funny story.
Yeah. If you go to Jordan's Twitter, X, I guess we call it now, and from there you'll just get sent in the necessary direction you need to on something you shared. So I read all that stuff yesterday and was just fascinated by all of it. But Big East basketball, man, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The only thing I'll say about it, the documentary that came out is about Ed Cooley, the coach that was at Providence. Now he's at Georgetown.
Yep.
And basically, there's a documentary made about the timeline with Ed Cooley coming in, what he did at the school, how much, he was a huge figure at the school when he was there. And then transition, he goes to another Big East school, and they kind of tell the story of everything that happened. I personally thought it was a great documentary, but there's some sports experts out there that did not.
Yeah. I watched it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are bringing Making Memz to you live from the Channel Seed Studios. Channel Seed, we appreciate everything they do for this network and for us as a great sponsor. If anyone needs some corn or some beans, I don't know if they sell hay or other stuff, but check them out if you need some. Maybe you want to plant just like a half acre of some corn in your yard this year. Check out Channel Seed. They'll probably sell you that small bag if you really
You know,
want.
my old barber shop, they always plant one little corn stalk right in front of their barber shop.
Really?
It's right downtown Marion, right when you pull into Marion. Anyone that's from Eastern Iowa, every single around spring they plant it and then they watch it grow, and it's so funny because there's this huge giant corn stalk in the middle of a downtown grass area right in front of their barber shop.
Do they still do it?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
It's gonna become like one of those stops when you like visit a town and people ask like the sites and stuff you have to see. It's gonna be you got to go see the corn stalk.
It's crazy how much Marion is. See, I thought growing up, it is a small town,
Mhm.
Marion. I thought Marion was such a small town compared to the rest of like everywhere. Like even because I've never really ventured out to small town Iowa,
And now you know.
and now I know it's not
Yes,
small.
My town, about 1,800 where I grew up and still live currently.
And your graduating class,
48, I think it was. Yep, small.
were you valedictorian?
Oh no, you want to know what's crazy? My class, hands down, I don't think it can even be argued, smartest class that's ever gone through the high school I went to. One of my best friends went to Harvard.
Went to Harvard?
Yeah, is incredibly successful. Only kid from Elta that's ever gone Ivy League. Is incredibly successful. Still lives out in Boston. His Harvard stories, we should have him on sometime. His Harvard stories and like the people he met and was friends with and like what they've since gone on to do in life is kind of crazy. But I guess that's what happens when you go to Harvard. You meet people that go out and change the world. And all my friends, like we had like 13 4.0s. So many people from my class and are like crazy successful, amazing jobs. My best friend is a CFO of a company. Another friend is probably a year away from being like the president of a huge company. Like it's wild. We were so small, but so many smart, successful people that were my friends in this class. And then there's, I'm successful, but I'm just a farmer. I didn't have to be smart. I did get a 3.8 though.
I don't even remember what I got in high school.
Good enough to get into college. We know that.
Wow, yeah. My GPA in college wasn't the best, so.
Well, how was your weekend, pal? Was it exciting?
Not really.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm heading to Hawaii here in a couple weeks, so really excited.
You're about ready to start hitting the road.
Yeah. I'm just ready for summer. I'm like I kind of broke up this winter kind of great. Like this February, I guess it's supposed to be nice here in the next couple weeks, but
yeah.
I'm leaving here to the West Coast from like the 12th to the beginning of March, basically. So I'm excited. It's weird because like we talked about this before. This is the first winter I've actually had like a normalcy to my life. Yep. So I think I've experienced winter from a different angle now.
Yeah.
I realize it's not fun at all. Like at all.
No.
Like nothing fun to it.
No, not one bit.
Christmas. Okay. Christmas. That's it.
Christmas is wonderful. But yeah, I'm a big, like, I love winter. I like what winter brings. It brings early darkness and short days on the farm after a long year. I don't like all the snow and all that. I like a inch here and there, a couple inches here and there, but ultimately when January hits, like, let's just get it over with. Let's get to March Madness and let's start getting long days and playing golf again is the way I think. But geez, if it wasn't so sloppy out there, we didn't have so much snow, we'd be able to golf this week. It's supposed to be in the 50s for a week straight.
It is disgusting out when that switched from the snow melting and all the sand on the roads and the mud everywhere. It's just gross.
I vacuum my apartment twice a day because no matter how much I wipe my shoes off and stuff, like rocks and like sand and everything that was on there that's on them still, I take my shoes off of my rug when I come in, but they somehow all make it throughout my kitchen and everywhere. And I'm always walking around barefoot cooking and stuff and stepping on sand and rocks. I vacuum twice a day. It's very annoying.
This reminded me of I'm glad you brought this up. One, I don't think that's that weird that you do that. I think that's completely normal. But I want to hear your thoughts on this
Okay.
because I have some tests on people's character. Obviously, I never judge a book by its cover,
Right.
but
That's why we're friends.
yes, but one of them I have is, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
Is when someone, let's say it's a friend or someone, might even be a stranger. Let's say they're coming over to the house, and obviously it's kind of awkward to say for them to do something as they step in their house. But
Yep.
my test as a character is if they take their shoes off
Oh yeah.
when they get to the front door.
Yeah.
What's
I'm
your
with
thoughts?
you. Take them off unless I tell you that we
fine.
don't have to.
Right.
Or if it's like, if you live in a city dwelling and it's super nice out and dry and clean, I get it. Like, I'll probably still vacuum after you leave, but don't be coming in here and taking all this sand and crap all over my apartment. Especially, I'm a clean freak and I don't like it. But yeah, if it's not your house, just assume they want your shoes off. I don't care if you're someone who says you don't like having your shoes off, then go home because you're taking them off at my house, buddy.
So you're on the same page.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll never forget my mom had I can't remember if it was her first shoulder or knee surgery. And it was after college. I was still living at the farm when I had moved back, and someone came to visit her. It was middle of winter, muddy as heck out on the farm. And they came out to visit her and brought food, and they just walked into the house, kept their shoes on, tracked mud all over my parents' white carpet. And I remember being so mad and so badly wanting to say something to this person, but I knew that my mom would be mad if I was disrespectful. And so I held my tongue. And as soon as they left, I said some not so nice things about that person. And then I got down on my hands and knees and started cleaning all the mud off my parents' white carpet. This person just walked in with muddy shoes right into the house to hang out. There was muddy footprints all over the house. Oh boy, was I fired up.
I don't doubt it.
But
I always thought that was like incredibly disrespectful. And if
Yeah.
someone just didn't even attempt to take them off,
yeah,
like I get it. Like some people just like they don't care. Like you're gonna
Yep.
walk in your shoes, but I don't know. I was always taught if you step into someone's house, you should probably take your shoes off.
exactly. Because you're bringing all that dirtiness from outside with you. Let's contain that to the rug inside the door.
But a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people aren't like that.
True. Oh well, those people are stupid. Anyway, I didn't mean that. Especially if you're one of our listeners, I didn't mean that at all.
But
So-
if you do, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of all this changing weather and everything, it's so. If people don't believe that the climate is changing, I don't want to get political or anything, but I'm a firm believer that the climate is. I work in it daily. I've never seen swings like this where it's so warm now in winter and then it gets cold in summer. But speaking of just sloppy farm, changing weather, we also want to thank Terraplex Ag for their sponsorship, a wonderful ag-related, farm-related company. They got drones. If you need stuff done on your farm via drones, whether it's seeding during the growing season, aerial footage, spying on your farm neighbor who's maybe crossed the property line too much and you want to get evidence so you can win in court, don't do that. But you should use Terraplex Ag. Their drones can help out so many facets of your farm operation. You want to check them out. That is Terraplex Ag, and they can most definitely help you modernize and move into the new era of farming as technology becomes a bigger and bigger part of it. Thank you, Terraplex. We love you.
Mwah.
Should we talk some basketball, baby?
Let's do it.
It was a wild, wild week. We talked some Hawks, then Iowa State, and then I'll get to some national landscape stuff. But I'm eating crow because last week I said I expected a big win out of the Hawks against Maryland, and you cautioned me. And like always, you're right, and I was wrong, and Iowa blew it against Maryland. That was a gut punch loss. They would be 5-4 right now in conference if they would have held on to that. But during the game, Iowa kept scoring. I wrote down a note. I said, has Iowa become a paint team now? Because they're scoring in the paint so regularly. And then I remember thinking during the game, I hope all these twos don't come back to haunt us. And we were shooting threes. We just couldn't make them, but we weren't shooting them at the normal clip I'm used to. But I guess if we're scoring efficiently in the paint, like consistently, it's not the end of the world, but it came back to get us. And Iowa dropped a home game to Maryland. That was a brutal loss, buddy.
It's almost like people just don't want to listen to me.
Yeah. If people don't want to, at least your co-host should. So my apologies.
Well, I warned you. I said it was probably going to be an ugly game, which
yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
and it was probably going to be in the high mid 60s.
Which it was.
You want me to keep going?
You were right. We get it.
But no, I mean, Maryland's just a dangerous team. I think, looking back we'll talk about Michigan here in a second, but they get Michigan at home, they get Maryland at home. We're looking at a totally different. Yeah, I know, hindsight 2020, but we're looking at a huge shift on where we stand in the Big Ten, and a huge shift at making a run into the NCAA tournament for sure, not on the bubble.
Yep. Yeah, it was man. And after the game, like, we found out some personal stuff that had going on. Peyton Sanford had lost his grandmother, and he said, like, she hadn't been able to watch because she had dementia. And then he was, like, emotional because he's like, she's in heaven now. Maybe she can finally watch me for the first time. He said he was having trouble focusing. You saw how emotional he was after the game. And at the time, obviously, none of us knew except his teammates and coaches, obviously. And you see in the press conference when he's trying to fight back tears while talking about how feels like he let the team down and how he should have played better. And you see Tony kind of just go over and give him a little pat on the back. And, like, looking back at that now, that pat on the back, it seems more relevant because Tony knew what was going on. But obviously you guys are a brotherhood, so you keep things locked up. But none of us knew what was going on at the time. Obviously Tony did. So obviously that lends a little bit to why he didn't have the greatest game maybe, or why things had, I think the game before that too, it wasn't great. He probably was playing with a heavy heart, not being able to focus a ton. But he bounced back in a big way against Michigan, which was awesome. But so that did provide a little context, I think, as to why he had the game he had against Maryland.
Yeah, it just goes to show all the little things that, it's complex what college athletes deal with on a daily basis. You just never know. I think that's why I've always been such a huge advocate for these college athletes, because it's kind of the same it is the same concept as any professional athlete that's playing on TV. It's kind of just like you're not a zoo animal, but you're kind of just like out there for entertainment. Obviously, like, people are just watching you for entertainment, and people forget you're kind of a human being. Not kind of, you are a human being that is dealing with problems and, my family issues, or girlfriend broke up with you, tests coming up. There's all these kind of things that are happening. Hurt ankle that no one knows about, and now I've always been, someone that's really liked to try to keep that out of the public, just because of, how people are crazy out there. You can take one thing where someone's grandmother died and they'll still run with, oh, that shouldn't matter, like, they should still be ready to play. It's just crazy, the people out there that would say comment like that. But that's the world we live in. But I have mad respect for those guys, because obviously Iowa has dealt with a lot this season. I think literally that's the third grandmother that has passed away on the Iowa team, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's been an emotional year for the Hawks.
Yeah, but they're still looking really great. They have some great opportunities ahead. Everything that's happened already, they're still right in the hunt of being able to be mid to top pack of the Big Ten. But you got a lot of props for those guys, because I know what they deal with on a behind the scenes, which is important. Once you're able to see that, I think a lot of fans shift their mindset towards a lot of these players, just because they they go more in depth to what they deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched. There's a video put out on Instagram and X on last night, and the videographer of Iowa and social media team, they put out a video of the Michigan trip in the background, and dealing with logistical issues or dealing with everything behind the scenes,
Sure.
before the game, after the game. I thought that was really cool because that kind of give a spotlight to what goes on actually. Like, people realize like how much
Mhm.
time goes into basketball. Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of it that goes into time and money. And shoot around before games for an hour. Pregame meal, pregame quiz, going over the scouting report, post game. Getting treatment before the game. Flying to arenas, flying back to arenas. There's just so much logistical, you know, stuff that goes into a lot of this, this
Mhm.
this art of work that we call it.
Yeah.
And I think once more people see this behind the scenes of it, I think a lot of people say, damn, like, one, that's awesome that they're able to experience that. But two, there's just a lot of shit that happens.
Yeah, it's pretty much a full-time job, like a full-time working week job and also doing school. And I've always been someone who totally understands like why athletes can't work, or I don't think you guys are allowed to like have jobs, right?
I don't
And that's
know.
why like scholarships come into play and like stipend money there.
Yeah, you're supposed to, there's rules about having jobs as a college. It's just
Yeah.
incredibly idiotic. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I remember when I went to UNI, I was friends with some of the athletes there, and I'd be sitting around talking to them, and they would just tell me their schedule. And I mean, obviously, like it's freaking cool what you guys get to do and the notoriety and stuff that comes with it. But I totally understood why they get like the scholarship check and the stipend they do and stuff that covers expenses, because that's your life. That is you're basically beginning your working life, the hours you're putting into it. That's required of you. And it's like 6 a.m. start every day.
And my favorite thing is too when I see I mean, when I was going through, I saw this a lot, not only myself, but a lot of college athletes out there. A lot of people on the outside would say, like, oh, wait till you get in the real world, wait till you get in the real world.
Why do you think people want to hire athletes?
That's
They're
what I'm
already like
saying. Like,
doing it.
why do you think there's so many athletes that do so well in the real world? Is because
Yeah.
they've dealt with so much adversity at such a young age
Dude,
that
sports, yeah.
they're so primed to excel at whatever they do next. Obviously, there's examples that isn't the case
Mhm.
because of whatever happens beforehand, their background or whatever. But majority of time, they're looking to hire athletes because of the experience not only we have, but that what we went through.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's jobs out there that are extremely tough, and I'm not putting anything down towards that, but
Yep.
there's just like a work ethic you have to be a Division One athlete. Like,
Mhm.
it's just not given to you. Nothing is giving to you on a daily basis. Everything you have to earn every single day.
Yeah, and sports teaches you winning and losing, how to be a team player, and if you weren't one of those people while you're on a team, the company's probably not going to keep you around for long or want you, because being able to cooperate and know your role and work together like you do in sports translates into the working world.
I wish everyone played sports.
Same.
Like,
They're so huge for life.
you literally, yeah, and it's not even like a joking matter. I know I'm laughing, but it's just crazy. Like, just simple comparisons that sports has to real life, and the
Yep.
humility of losing and winning, the um, going through adversity and not just laying over and not responding. I
Yep.
mean, how many people do you know in your life? I know that I know in my life too that the second that adversity hits them, they just crumble and
Mhm.
they don't respond at all and they don't learn from it. I mean, isn't that ultimately what adversity is? Is you have adversity and it's not used for anything but learning from it and not
Yep.
doing the same thing that you did beforehand.
Yep. Right
But
on.
for whatever reason, a lot of people just don't have those basic concepts. And I think every single person should have a foot in sports, some shape or form in one way of their life. Because if you don't have those characteristics, I don't really see how I don't want to say you can be successful, but have successful traits of,
Yeah.
future in your life, because you just never have experienced that at that kind of angle with sports.
Yep. Amen. That was a fun little tangent we went on there.
Mhm.
And back to, while we're talking about sports, back to these basketball games. This kind of like couples the Maryland and Michigan game together. Golly, I'm doing what Gary Dolphin does, calling him Tony Freeman. Owen Freeman. I know he's a freshman. Some silly fouls out of him. Pretty much every game this year. I watch these games. I will agree with a lot of the things people are saying, that I do not think he's getting a fair whistle from these officials a lot of games. He's getting mauled on the offensive end and not getting calls, and then getting some touchy fouls. But he does bring some of it on himself. He'll be straight up on a guy, and then he'll put his arm down, like last second shot clock. He's got a guy pinned where it's going to be a terrible shot. He's going to throw up at the shot clock buzzer, and he'll put his arm down and foul the person. And I'll just be like, brother, your wingspan is like 7'4". You were standing straight up and down. Like, he's not getting a good shot off on you, buddy. And so I just wish he'd be a little smarter with the fouls, because when he has to come out of games, it very clearly affects the Hawks, especially down low. I mean, we're already not a great rebounding team, and it gets even worse when he goes out, except if my boy Ladgy can play. He helps. But yeah, and I wish, and another thing I'm noticing about Owen, and hopefully he'll like do the Luka trajectory where he continues to work his butt off and develop more and more. He seems very hesitant to take like a 12-foot jumper when he like pops off a screen. He's afraid to take that. Oh, you're fired up. He'll like pass up a wide open shot, and I'll be like, brother, if you could hit this would be huge.
I don't like it. You know my thought. I don't like it.
Dang it. I thought you were going to agree with me. I thought he might be the exception.
Nope.
All right. So Owen Freeman, keep it down low. If you're going to be shooting a jumper, it better be a 3.
Well, there's just no reason to. I mean, he's leading the Big Ten in field goal percentage.
True. And he actually did take a 3 against Michigan. So maybe he's been working on it, and maybe it's slowly going to build into his repertoire.
I doubt Fran liked that. I'm sure we didn't get the camera angle, but I bet he either turned around and looked at his coaches, or he went. One of the two.
Oh, man. Yeah. Tony. Oh my gosh. This guy is on fire, buddy. He is very clearly come into the player Hawkeye fans across the country was hoping he could be this year. He is taking over games defensively, finishing down low, creating open shots for other guys because he's now driving and being aggressive. I mean, he is absolutely on fire lately, and I love to see it, because we're going to need him to continue to set the tone like that. When him and Peyton are both on, it's easily one of the best 1-2 combos in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, but what we talked about last week, I'm going to
there you go.
pat myself on the back here. I told you.
Yep.
Tony and Peyton need to be the guys that shoot the majority of the shots, or this team will not be able to make a run. As you see that, I mean, it's a guards game. I know everyone always talks about that postseason. It's a guards game. You have guys that step up. The guard's going to have to do the majority of the work to get everyone else involved. And what Tony and Peyton have been able to do, especially against Michigan, when they play really well, like I would love to see their stats when Tony and Peyton at least have 15 points. I would imagine Iowa's probably undefeated. Like,
oh yeah, yep. A tweet yesterday from David Eicholt. He said Tony Perkins is currently the only player in the Big Ten and one of 8 nationally with 300 points, 80 assists, 75 rebounds, and 35 steals. So he's definitely playing great. I wouldn't mind seeing him use that COVID year, if he has it, to come back and play again for the Hawks.
I don't know why he wouldn't. But before we touch on, I don't want to get away from this. So we are going to talk about Tony. One thing I want to say about those statistics, and take it for what it's worth. Take it for what's worth.
Expert opinion coming.
We're coming up with the most crazy statistics nowadays. Like, What are we doing? This guy has 17 backflips, 14 missed shots that hit the right side of the rim.
Only player in the
13
country shooting 70% on a Tuesday night.
only player in the country shooting 37% from 3 at the top of the key on a Friday night after they went out all night and are hungover. Like, what are we doing?
This is why we have the expert opinions of a
Jeez.
former player
I
to
mean, I
keep us
get it.
in
I
check.
do. I get it. I do. But also, we gotta draw a line at some point.
All
Someone's
right.
got to say no more.
All right, Tony, just keep playing good, buddy. Just
He's
keep
playing
playing good,
phenomenal.
and let's worry about the only things we care about is dubs and L's. Let's just keep stacking dubs. It
Tony,
was. Go ahead, buddy.
yeah. To go on my point, Tony has been playing such at a high level. I mean, his
Mhm.
ability. I think now you've seen. I'm sure Coach McCaffrey has gone into Tony of pushing the ball a lot harder in transition, off makes or misses,
Mhm.
because that just makes huge openings for everyone on the court because this defense is scrambling. And when I was there, his mindset for his point guards was to get the ball into the paint as quick as possible or get the ball below the free throw line as quick as possible. That doesn't even mean if you have to pick your dribble up and jump stop and turn around, because your ability just to get to the paint as a point guard in transition or off a make or miss, everyone is scrambling because they got to do help defense. Guys are helping
Mhm.
in, guys are helping over. The skip pass is there. Then they're scrambling to close out. There's just so much that opens up by them just doing that simple thing. And I think that's what I'm assuming Coach McCaffrey has told Tony. And Tony has definitely done the perfect job.
Yep. Amen. And he's going to need to keep doing that for us, and Peyton hopefully also. Because one thing, if I don't want to be a negative Nelly and pick nits, but I'm not a huge fan of some of the silly fouls Iowa picks up, and I'm noticing a lot of them coming from Freeman, Dix, and Brock. And I'm not saying it's all them, but I think it's just a product of being young and still having to like get into the flow of a game and learn from those mistakes. I'm trying to constantly remind myself that two of them are 18, maybe 19 now, years old. Like, I know that they're big time athletes you're watching on TV, but they're still very young. But yeah, some silly fouls when it looks like we'll have a guy trapped. I mentioned Owens, some dumb reaches here and there that really can kill the flow when the offense is rolling, or give some freebie points at the end of the game to teams when it's just so unnecessary. So hopefully they'll clean that up. But I've noticed that being a bit of a trend for the Hawks. It's a little concerning, is some bad fouls when it looks like we have a good defensive stop.
And you've asked me on over the phone about my comments on the officiating and stuff in the
Yes.
past in the last couple of weeks. The only reason why I haven't said anything, I know, shocker, Jordan, the ref accountability officer, he's got to be out there calling everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
I call a spade a spade. We've had some very stupid fouls.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I haven't been on the refs, because we have fouled them at the most crazy times.
Yep.
For example, Patrick fouled someone from 90. I know he didn't try to, but he was just going for offensive rebound at Michigan, and he accidentally reached in on a guy 94 feet from the basket with his back turned with the ball.
Yep.
I know Fran does not like that. I can tell you one thing: if you do anything with Coach McCaffrey and you don't want to get in trouble, don't foul someone 94 feet from the basket, because I
Mhm.
promise you're either be ending on the bench or you're going to be having your ass chewed out at film, one of the two,
Yep.
the next day. But
Can't have
that's
it.
the only reason. That's the only reason why I haven't said anything about the refs.
All right. Well, when they deserve it, we know who's going to be
Oh.
there to lay the smack down.
I'll come around. Like, there'll be a game here in the next couple weeks, I bet, where
Oh yeah.
someone's gonna have to either put me in jail or
Don't worry, I'll come bail you out.
you do
All
look good
right.
in orange.
All righty. Big game tonight at Assembly Hall, iconic arena, huge home court thing. Fans there are nuts. I do think, though, that Iowa can win this game, partially because Indiana, it's a game time decision. He has not played the last two games. Their big Kalel Ware is I think he's averaging like 14.5 a game, 9.5 rebounds per game. He's their top field goal percentage guy. He sprained his ankle really bad about 10 days ago, has not played the last 2 games. I did read up on him and look into what it was looking like. It's going to be a game. Obviously, the coaches probably know if he's playing or not, but obviously they don't want to give anything away. They said he's not walking with a limp anymore, still some swelling. They'll see if the swelling goes down. But if he doesn't play, I really love the Hawks' chances as long as we can keep Owen out of foul trouble down low. But it is also Assembly Hall where it's very hard to get wins. So big game tonight for the Hawks. Same record as Indiana in conference. They're both tied for 10th, 4-5. Got to have it. Not the end of the season if we don't get it, but a win that we really should need to get here.
I'll be very shocked if they pull out a win tonight. I'll be honest. Just because of, and don't take this wrong way, I pray they do win. But just with the fact of their short turnaround with Michigan, coming back from Michigan's time change from Michigan back to Iowa, time change back to Indiana here in a short turnaround on a short 2-day prep with guys that played heavy minutes against Michigan. I'll be surprised if they pull this one out just because of that and how hard it is to win at Indiana. Indiana's lost 3 in a row, so I know I don't like to factor in past things like I'm talking about, but I'm just saying, being a realist here, what's probably going to happen is going to be probably a sloppy game a little bit here, just because of where we're at in the season. We talked about this last episode, where we're at in the season with both teams. Indiana's kind of on a lifeline right now. And I would be shocked if Indiana doesn't come out and absolutely try to make a statement tonight, just because of what's on the line. And you look at the records, 4-5. It isn't the end of the season, but this is a big swing right here. If you're able to get to 5-5 instead of 4-6 and start separating yourself from the bottom half compared to the middle half and the top middle, that's a big difference, especially for seeding, for opportunity to, get into a better seed for not only Big Ten tournament, but NCAA tournament potentially too.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I think there's just a lot of at stake for Indiana to really lay a goose egg tonight. I would be really shocked. And it being at home, but how many times have we seen in McCaffrey era that Iowa has pulled out wins like this when no one believed they would?
And they've won 4. They've won 4 straight against Indiana, which is wild. So we'll see what happens. They've won. I think they've won 2 in a row at Assembly Hall, or maybe some of those wins were in the Big Ten tournament. Post you absolutely just destroying them that one game and making me pass out. But yeah, it's Iowa like across the board, like even defensively and stuff. We're better in almost every single category, including offensive rebounds, total rebounds, assists, way better. So like statistically, everything's better. But that stuff goes out the window a lot of time in huge conference games. Indiana is hungry. I mean, they played Illinois at Illinois down to the wire without, I don't know if he's their best player. He's definitely one of their 2 or 3 best. They're big and Ware. Didn't even make a 3 and still went down to the wire. So, yeah, they're hungry for a win and to keep their tourney hopes alive. So it will be a very hard win. Iowa, I mean, I know we can explode offensively in a matter of moments, but I think it's important to at least come out sharp and stay in the game, not try to get buried early.
Yeah, I think that's the big mindset. The first 4 minutes are really important in this game.
Yeah.
Just because of what's at stake for Indiana. I mean, at Iowa too. I mean, you can say the counter argument, Iowa has a lot of stake at this point in the season as well too, based off the record. But it's gonna be a great matchup with Tony and Xavier Johnson. Xavier Johnson's been there forever like I was, so he has a lot of experience. He's playing in big time games. I know he's a very, very great point guard, very skilled, plays really great defense. And that's something Indiana has been always notorious for. So I would imagine what they normally do, they're going to get up in our guards and really pressure them on the half court, really make them work for shots. I would imagine they're going to be face guarding Peyton. They're not going to let them get any breath open for air for a three. So we're going to really have to try to get Tony and Peyton going from the get-go. Those two guys don't get going from the start, it's going to be a long night probably for Iowa.
Yep. And that makes kind of my key to the game be Josh Dix. I think he's going to be important to be able to make some shots here and there when he has his chances. So teams start to key on him a little more. So it'll hopefully help open up things for Peyton and Tony. But we shall see. I think it's 6:00 on the Big Ten Network tonight. So go Hawks. Let's hope we pull it a W. Then Friday, they host Ohio State, and we'll have a ton of recap on that and stuff next Tuesday. But regardless of what happens tonight, hopefully Iowa can bounce back with a home win against Ohio State on Friday. Iowa will have had 2 conference games to Iowa State's none by the time Iowa State plays another game this coming Saturday. So the Hawks have been through the ringer. Some nice rest for Iowa State. Iowa, after Ohio State, they will have a 5.5 day rest before their next game against Penn State, which will be much needed and nice.
Those off days, I tell you, because this point of the season, there's not any off days. Mm-hmm. And when you have that one break, there's always that one long break you have in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best feeling ever. I tell you what, I did not go to class that off days when we had them. I slept the whole time.
Well, that happens, buddy. All right. Let's do an exciting moment here quick. We have to announce a winner for something, for a competition for Iowa Everywhere. So if people remember, I think it was last episode, we talked about this Love is in the Air contest we're doing with Iowa Everywhere for a Kane Brown concert. Let's see here. The concert is April 18th, I believe. And you can go to, or you can email win@iowaeverywhere.com and tell us why you're thankful for your partner. And if you don't have a partner, maybe a best friend or a family member or something, and then we want to give you a pair of tickets to go see Kane Brown, plus a $50 gift card for dinner before the show in Des Moines. And so I have been given the information on a winner that we get to announce. This is so exciting, isn't it? All right, let's see here. Drum roll, please. The winner of 2 tickets and a $50 gift card for dinner before the show, Kane Brown, Zach Oden.
Yeah, let's go, Zach.
You know him?
No.
Oh. Nice. Maybe cousin to Greg Oden? Who knows?
Well, maybe.
But Zach Oden, congratulations. Hope you're listening, and make sure that you get a hold of us to collect your prize. And if it's a girlfriend or whatever, I hope you just have the best time ever. For my money, you should, if this is like a gift certificate that can be used anywhere, I totally think you should go to Simon's in Des Moines. The food will completely blow your mind. But I've got so many more options. That's my number one option. Nice little romantic steakhouse date. The food there is freaking insane how good it is. And great whiskey too. So you should check out Simon's if you like that kind of food. But congratulations to Zach Oden. How about that? And I think you can still enter. So we have more to give away. So win@iowaeverywhere.com. Tell us why you are thankful for your partner. Wasn't that exciting?
Congratulations, Zach.
Yep. Congratulations, buddy. You and your dreamboat of a partner can go look at a dreamboat of a man, Kane Brown. I'm not a huge fan of his music, but he is a very attractive man.
You don't like his music?
I'm a 90s country twangy guy. I like some modern stuff, but he's
pretty twangy though. If you heard
I do love his song, Why I Love Country Music or whatever it's called. Oh, it's a bop. I'll listen to it while I'm at the weight room.
His story, do you know his story? Kane Brown's story?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, good for him. It's he's having some very well-deserved success.
My brother was down in Destin, Florida. My oldest brother, they have a place kind of right by the beach area,
Yeah.
and they went out to eat with some of their friends down there, and they sat down and they looked to the right. I don't remember the exact who was all in the party, but it was Kane Brown, Ninja,
What?
the Fortnite player Ninja,
Ninja?
and I don't know if it was Tim the Tap Man, and then there's some other one, but there's like a couple like Fortnite streamers and gamers, and it was Kane Brown, and I think his wife was there too. And
Caitlin
yeah,
Brown.
yep. And after they both like got out of dinner at the same time and went outside, and I think they're walking out behind them, and my sister-in-law stopped them and asked them for a picture and get a picture with their kid, and
That's
it was
awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. They said they were like the nicest. Kane and Caitlin were like the nicest people ever.
Yeah, that's what, for the most part, that's the beauty of country music is almost always they're going to be super nice and cordial and definitely willing to give a few minutes of their time for fans, which is awesome.
Yeah, the great thing too is like the dinner, no one stopped them when they're eating. They said, which is
let people eat.
That's another one, like taking our shoes off and
Yeah.
letting people eat their food and not interrupting them at a dinner. Just two things.
Mm-hmm. Well, when this pod is doing like 1 million downloads an episode, and we're just super big time, because you're the dreamboat, people are probably going to be wanting to come up and interrupt our dinner.
I'm not talking to anyone.
To talk to you, and I'll have to stop them. And they'll be like, "Who are you?" And they won't even know that I'm half the podcast.
No, but they'll say you look good in orange.
They will. And which will be a good thing, because maybe if they don't know who I am, my ego will get the best of me, and I'll beat them up and get put in jail, and I'll have to wear orange.
Well, we don't want that.
Hey, I have another exciting read for us to do. A new sponsor to Iowa Everywhere and this show is DRF Sportsbook. Have you heard of them?
I have.
Yep. So DRF Sportsbook is it's a new app. It's only in Iowa currently, so you'll get great customer service if and when you need it. But they're a new partner with us. We're super happy about this. Hopefully that we can help them grow, and we can grow right along with them in the process. Some things to know here about them. Like I said, they're only Iowa-based through and through, operating here. So they're going to have a bunch of cool like Iowa bets and promos and stuff for sports in the state. But we do have a new user offer. So we've got you covered there. This is what you do. You download the DRF Sportsbook app from the App Store, or go to ia.drf.com. And when you're signing up, if you enter the promo code Iowa300, when you sign up, you will receive a 100% deposit match up to $300. So if you put $300, they're going to match you, and you'll get a $50 bet credit when you sign up using that promo code. So if you have a two bad week stretch where you lose that 300, guess what? You might get hot. You'll have the 300 they gave you. You might turn it into 300,000, and you can go into an early retirement.
No guarantees.
Yeah, no guarantees. Gamble responsibly. If you have an issue, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. They can always help you. But I want to, because we're doing this and reading for DRF Sportsbook now, I was going to give my opinion on a nice little parlay that I think people could sprinkle a few bucks on tonight.
You are a parlay prince. I
am the parlay prince, baby. I like, and these are some big numbers, so people calm down, but I feel very strongly about them. I think North Carolina is going to cover the 8.5 tonight at Georgia Tech. North Carolina is my favorite team in the country right now. They are veteran loaded with awesome talent. RJ Davis, Baycott, they are a really good team. And I like Michigan State tonight at home against Michigan. They're favored by 11.5. If you don't think they can cover that, maybe you can tease it up to like 7.5 or something, or just take money line. I do think Michigan State is going to bounce back big from that game they had against Wisconsin. At home, rivalry game, I expect a big win from them. And I also like George Washington plus 12.5 at Dayton. Dayton's ranked. I know it's the A10. You think, oh, the ranked teams are going to beat the unranked teams easily. No, George Washington ain't bad. They're way far better offensively than Dayton. Dayton's just very efficient with their offense and good defense. But I very strongly think George Washington can cover the 12.5 against Dayton. So do what you want with those. If they all lose, Don't come at me. I'm human. I'm not perfect. But those are my thoughts.
I was big into parlays last year. I'm
It's time
proud
to
of
get back
myself.
into it, buddy.
Yeah, I haven't sports bet this college basketball season. I kind of miss it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it takes you on a wild ride. Let me tell you that. I do it almost nightly.
Oh, imagine playing it.
I know. I can't imagine. Oh man, we have talked a lot. We've got, as we're closing out here, a little bit. We better talk about Iowa State, and then we'll talk about as much national landscape as we can. Or if we don't have time, we've already talked about some of it. But Iowa State had a huge week. They welcomed in the Kansas tour, knocked out Kansas State, knocked out Kansas at Hilton. I was rooting for your boy Hunter. He had a good game. He was really good at the end there. He's one thing I've noticed about him, he's very smart. He just makes such good basketball smart.
Yeah.
He makes such smart passes out of the post, and like he doesn't panic and rush and like do something dumb on the basketball court. Maybe he's not smart off the court. That's for you to decide.
No, I'm just kind of messing with you. He's a great guy. Good friend of mine.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? After the game, of course, I get thrown into the fire by the Iowa State Cyclones here.
Of course.
Guys, I'm not playing anymore, okay? I want to be social. I want to be friends. I don't want bad blood. Like, I get it, okay? I left shoes on the court. I get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be so mad about it. Can we move on? Can we rekindle our relationship?
It's
I don't play anymore.
The silliest thing ever.
And to go along that point, I'm not joking, you Adam. I got a ton of tweets to me after the Kansas game about a podcast I recorded 3.5 months ago of Hunter Dickinson saying he was going to do something for me when he played at Hilton. I'm like, I didn't even say it. But I'm like, then I got all these tweets like, oh, how'd your boy like that ass kicking at Hilton? How's Hilton feeling today, J-Bo? I'm like, guys, I'm not playing. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. Hunter's a great friend of mine. I don't care, though, if they win or lose.
Iowa State. There will never be a day when there's any rationale.
Gosh.
And maybe always going to be consistently a little bit of a little brother behavior. That's all I'll say about that.
I would have said that 2 years ago, but anyone that's been following me, I haven't said anything bad about Iowa State. I'm
the jerk on the show, not you.
I'm going to slam my head against them.
Well, congrats to Iowa State on their. Honestly, I expected both those wins. It's nearly impossible to win at Hilton. That environment was nuts. Iowa State goes to Baylor, so they're up to number 12 now in the poll. They go to Baylor Saturday. They haven't been great on the road. I mean, not a ton of teams are. Everyone's different at home usually, but except for some reason Iowa seems better on the road. It's wild. Big game for them at Baylor. And I saw a lot of Iowa State fans and like my friends too on social media, like saying, I'm not going to get excited until we prove we can win on the road. I was like, man, you guys have a really good team. I'd be excited regardless. Baylor's new arena looks awesome. It's smaller. The fans are going to be wild. It's going to be a crazy environment. So we will see how TJ and the Cyclones hold up there. I have no predictions. You can't predict anything in the Big 12. So we'll see.
Well, as we talked about before in the last couple of weeks, Iowa State's schedule is just incredibly insane.
Mm-hmm.
The next 3 weeks.
Yep.
Because realistically, we got 11 games left of conference play in the Big 12. I think it's around 10 for Big 10.
Yep.
With teams. I mean, I was watching Texas Houston last night. There's just the Big 12 is just different this year. Like the teams are so damn good. Every single one of them. Like, I don't even know. This has to be one of the best leagues, top to bottom, in a long time that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
My junior year at Iowa, the Big 10 was kind of like that. But I don't know if I've seen this many teams that just have a capability of making a run and winning their conference. I really haven't. Of any league I've ever seen.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Couple more national landscape things to touch on here. UNI, good grief. 10-point lead in the second half against Drake on Saturday. I was so fired up. I remember I sent you a Snapchat saying you got to show this to Matt Bohannon. We're getting jacked up. And then I checked my phone. I had something I had to be at. I checked my phone and see they lost by 14. That's the most typical, like the last couple years, UNI, they are like artists. It's like poetry and how they blow second half leads. I hate to say it. But how do you get out? They got outscored by 24 over a span of like 10 minutes to lose by 14. That was a huge conference game. They've still won 10 of 12 or 11 of 13, whatever it is. They're still hot. I still have a lot of confidence that they're going to continue to improve. They didn't have Bowen Bourne for that game. So, but that was a bummer to see UNI not be able to hold on at Drake. But it is what it is.
That's a place that's hard to win though. I'm sure the play, I saw a picture on social media. It looked like the place was just actually absolutely chaotic.
Oh yeah, the Nap Center was buzzing.
Yeah, that's a cool place. I took a unofficial visit to Drake.
Did you?
I got offered a scholarship, and honestly, right after you and I pulled my scholarship, I was really close to going to Drake after this.
Crazy.
And yeah, it was a great school. It's a phenomenal school. Like the campus, obviously the academics wise, like they have a chance to do something special at that program. I mean, I know they've already have, but they're like that's a place that a lot of people, I know it's hard to get into, but a lot of people that's definitely a place that a lot of people I think would love to go to.
Yep. All right. I want to, as we wrap up here, the games on Saturday, I'm so jazzed. I am so like happy to be a bachelor right now and just be able to get my work done unless I have another something going on, and then just sit and watch basketball all day. I'm a basketball fiend. I love college basketball. I've liked it my whole life. But Saturday you got obviously Iowa State Baylor. UConn at St. John's in a sold-out Madison Square Garden is going to be just insane. I could see St. John's pulling off that upset at number one UConn. Marquette goes to Georgetown. Georgetown's obviously down this year as they try to rebuild with Ed Cooley, but anything can happen at Georgetown in a Big East game. And then Texas TCU is going to be a dogfight at TCU. Jamie Dixon, he always has his teams prepared. Oh, what else was there? I keep looking. You got Utah State, San Diego State. To most people that might think that's boring. To me, that's a friggin' awesome Mountain West game. That's 2:30.
Ooh,
awesome Mountain West game out there that I'm so excited to see. And we keep going. You got Oklahoma, who's dropped all the way down to 23rd now, by the way, at UCF. Going to be a Big 12 battle. UCF's tough at home. They beat Kansas at home, so never count them out. And then Houston at Kansas. Probably the game of the day, either that or North Carolina Duke battling for the supremacy of Tobacco Road. Then you got Houston at Kansas. I mean, holy crap. What a slate of games for Saturday. I'm so excited. I know I'm going to lose money, but it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
Look at the Big 12. I know we talked about them. The standings, that just remind me, I want to look at the standings.
Sure.
Because Kansas is playing Houston.
Yep.
Kansas is 4-3 in conference.
I know, it's nuts. And they're number 8 in the country.
Texas is 3-5.
Oh, dude, Texas last night. Oh my gosh, they blew it against Houston.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they had that dumb turnover 25 seconds ago in regulation with the ball, and it's tied. And Houston, by the way, I think I would cut off a foot if Iowa became a rebounding team like them. I'd give my foot. I've never seen anyone attack the boards more relentlessly than Houston. It's completely insane to watch.
Well, they can't score the ball, so they have
this
to.
This is true.
Know. They're practicing. They're like, this is going on. This is not good. We got to go grab the ball.
I can't remember what national college basketball guy it was. They actually tweeted that Houston's best offense is a missed shot because they're going to get an offensive rebound and maybe a putback or draw a foul.
When they made that run, the 2 year. What did they go to the title
Final game? Four 2000? Was it 21 or was it 20? I can't remember.
Yeah,
that year, 20. The season got canceled, so I think it was 21.
Yeah, that year that was literally their best offer. They would chuck the ball. I mean, they had some really great guards that year too, but their wings would just fly to the glass and they get a wide open layup because no one can box them out.
Nope.
That was the best offense.
Yeah, they're crazy to watch. Oh my gosh. All right. Holy cow. There was more we could talk about, but it's been an hour. We should probably go. I do want to mention some Caitlin Clark stuff next time around. Like I told you, I'm going to push the Caden Proctor football line stuff back to maybe spring. There's too much to talk about with basketball right now. It's too much. My mind is spinning with college basketball.
Basketball's just a great sport. That's why.
I love it. I love it so much. Football, I was best at. Baseball is my favorite to play, actually probably tied with basketball. I was way better at football, but I loved playing basketball. I lived for like 12 points and 12 rebounds. Just give me all the rebounds. I wanted to be eating rocks down there in the post. That's all I cared about.
Eating rocks.
Just, eating rocks, chewing on glass. I'm that guy that every other team hated, but you love to have me as a teammate. That was my goal.
Those are the best teammates.
Yep. All right. Well, check out the Iowa Event Center. That's where you're going to see Kane Brown, and you have that awesome deal with us. Congrats to Zach Oden. Thank you, Terraplex Ag. Thank you, Channel Seed. And people, go check out DRF Sportsbook. Support a local company. Let's blow them up. We'd love to grow with them, see them have some great numbers, do some great things. And thank you to DRF Sportsbook for sponsoring this show. You got anything else, J-Bo?
Let's get a win tonight.
Let's get a win, baby.
Let's get a win.
I think we deserve this win because this was my flu game. I've been holding a pee since 4 minutes into the show.
Oh.
The coffee's flowing. My bladder's about to explode. So this was my flu game. So the Hawks deserve a win.
Having to pee is one of the biggest struggles ever in life.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I think a couple trickles might have come out in my underwear.
That's all right. As long as it didn't get on the ground, you're good.
That's true. All right. Nothing I love more than making Memz with you on a Tuesday, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time.